Hey, what's up YouTube? Inkwellish here. Today I want to show you a project I've been working on for a little while. This is a modified sprinkler valve with some of my own little tweaks to the standard format. Just right off the bat I'll point out this is a air coupling for like an air hose. Safety, which some people do, so that's this little 1/4-inch ball valve. And then I'll show you a few things I did inside. Anyway, I'm not going to go over how I did all of this. There are videos that explain how to modify a sprinkler valve. You can get most of the information you need from those. I just want to show you what I did here. So the screws are already taken out of the valve. So it's just your basic. You fill this in, you take the solenoid out, fill that in. That happens, not really that important. And then inside, if I can get the thing apart. There we go. You just want to watch when the epoxy's curing that it doesn't drain too far down in there. Otherwise you'll have a mess on your hands and you might actually ruin part of the valve. But anyway, 5-minute epoxy is good. Put a piece of tape over this. It'll be fine. So just make sure not too much of it drains from there through there. The other thing that I did with this valve that most people will not do is I took the spring out. The spring actually, in the configuration I have here, we'll talk about this in a second, but the spring actually doesn't help at all. So I got rid of that. And then the other thing, when you get these from the factory, they have this little screen that lets pressure bleed from one side of the valve to the other. Kind of goes right in this little area. There's a little hole right there. And if you take this out, it lets a little bit more air bleed from each side, or from one side to the other. So in this case it's going to bleed from the top to the bottom. So if you can visualize this, if the valve is assembled, this is the tank. Tank's on this side. So your air reservoir is on this side. So the air can actually leak through the top of the valve and fill the tank down there. Can't see my finger there, so that might make sense to some people. So that's partially why you don't need the spring in place anymore, because the air is pushing down on this membrane, sealing off the valve. Now, the other thing I did here was I added this coupling fitting. And the reason for that is I have an adapter that goes on it, like that, and now I can use like a bike pump or a little portable air compressor or something and fill the tank when it's attached. That's really fun because now tank designs can be really simple and use less fittings. So basically you can just have a piece of pipe with a cap and then a reducing bushing down to 1 inch. So you don't need to have this crazy tank design. You can keep it really simple and clean, which I like. This people have done. This is nothing new. This safety, I've seen this a bunch of times. Just keep it in the off position so you don't actually accidentally bump this. Otherwise, you can make some really powerful pneumatic guns. So it's good to have a safety. Other than that, I wish I had a better way to do this. This is kind of a prototype still, but if I had something called a bullhead tee, at least that's what I was told it's called, I'd have 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, 3/8. I couldn't find one, and I was told that they're not very common. So you could use just a 1/4 inch tee, but I did want the extra threads in here. So, oh yeah, and if you do use a 3/8 inch like this, and you screw it in as far as I did, you're going to need to take a little bit off of the diaphragm here. To take a little bit off of this part. I probably took off a little over 1/4 inch. And then make sure that if you reveal the screw, that you do actually seal that, just with some super glue or something. Otherwise you can get a little bit of air leaking between the two halves. But anyway, just wanted to share that little mod with you guys. Like I said, it's not breaking new ground necessarily, just kind of my own little take on it. Anyway, hopefully you found that useful, and good luck on projects. Keep building.